And you touched on earlier about one. You said you kind of like it, but you don't. You're kind of against some of it. What's your actual thoughts and opinions on what you don't like?
I'm a purist, yeah. So I love Muay Thai, and I think it's beautiful to watch when it's done correctly. So like, and that's not saying like everyone has to always be like just doing nothing and looking good all the time. But like, you can hit with venom and be like exciting, but still like kind of know exactly what you're going to throw it instead of just. I see some of these fights on Friday Fights now on One. They're exciting sometimes, but it's just two people swinging at each other. It's like, go down.
Just hands,
go outside Pines, innit?
Yeah.
Go outside Pines and see that.
Yatesy
like,
style.
Innit? Like,
So you like the beauty of the martial art, where it's a little bit taken out because some people can just throw swinging hands.
That's it. And like where like it's all very calculated, where you can see what they're trying to do. Like, so a fight on that card yesterday. Did you watch all the card?
I didn't know.
So Tawanchai and Superbon. Like, if you get a chance, it's like actually, it'd be good to get your opinion because you're not from a purist Muay Thai background. For me, that was my favourite fight to watch the whole night. But then to someone that isn't so purist, I'd be interested to see what you think about that, because I just thought you watch them and you think they know exactly what they're trying to do. Like, and it was like a chess match. I love that. I think that's where it's like, if you can do that, that shows how elite you are. Whereas anyone in 4-ounce gloves now can start swinging hands, and if they get clocked once, they get a knockout.
It's sort of like a puncher's chance. Really,
Yeah.
all these guys have got venom to put
And
each
the
other
problem
up.
is, like with them 4-ounce gloves in the UFC, you can't do that to someone because they'll go and do a takedown. They'll just come and take you down. Whereas in one, they can't take you down, so they've just got to back up and hope one of these shots don't catch them.
A lot of them just end up trading, hoping for the best and hoping that their shot lands first. It's like there doesn't seem like there's much method behind a lot of the fights anymore. It's like, right, hopefully I land first and that's it. And I think that takes away the beauty of the sport a little bit. But then you watch someone like Tawanchai and Superbon and you watch them fight yesterday and you're like, even when you watch like Nongo and Nico, like even though Nico's like got a bit of a traditional purist style, but like he's also heavy-handed.
He was ready to just unload hands.
That's it. That's his thing. He's very good at like unloading with his hands. Like, whereas you watch someone like Nongo and straight away you look at him and go, he knows what he's doing. Like even though like I was a bit like confused about his second round, why he kind of done what he done, but just the way he stands, the way he's like feinting, you're like, nah, that guy is elite.
Yeah,
like, you can just tell the levels. And I think I'm hoping we don't lose that, because it's, and also, I don't know about you, but if you had like the one Friday fight share, let's say they have 12 fights on the card, every fight's the same. It's two people swinging and there's a knockout. The next fight's the same. It's like, that kind of loses a novelty, doesn't it? Like, it kind of wears off.
That's what we were saying with Lewis before. So it's like, Muay Thai is like one championship's a different Muay Thai.
It's completely different.
It's completely different, because if you ain't, a lot of these people probably ain't gonna have that same power in
normal gloves. Yeah, like that. What I was saying about Stevie, like Stevie, I could be wrong, but I don't think Stevie's really stopped many people with punches. Probably never. I don't think he's ever stopped people with punches. He was never known as a puncher, just a real good technical fighter, moved really well. But he went on to one. He's knocked out 2 or 3 people with punches. Like, he was never known as a puncher ever.
I think I think it hurts Thai.
Yeah.
It hurts traditional Thai, because I think for us it's different. We watched, I watched traditional Thai before I watched One Championship. Yeah. Because I just think if I'm going to watch One Championship, I'd rather watch UFC, because I like the takedowns and the jiu-jitsu aspect of it. But for a casual fan, like if you're living in America and you switch on One Championship and you're like, this is Muay Thai, running into the middle of the ring and just throwing down. Like, I don't mind this. And then you actually watch traditional Thai, they might be like, oh, I'm not really a fan of that. Because like you said, it's slower, there's a lot of shots, but it's still exciting. Though.
I think
it's calculated.
Yeah,
like you said, it's calculated.
Look, even if you go into all fight sports, so like, to use what you like, boxing, you like all sports.
Yeah.
So like, you've got all the elites like Terence Crawford right now, Canelo. Then you got the Thai boxing, like your Nongos, your Super Bonds, your Tawanchais, like all the elite where you go, they are the best. Like Terence Crawford, for instance. So you watch him, you're like, wow, like he's just good at everything.
He's different.
But like the way he moves, like he knows exactly where he needs to be, what he wants to do. Like that Floyd Mayweather, again, pure like prime example. Like maybe not as easy on the eye to some people, but when you actually realise how, saying that though, the guy's multiple, like how many pay-per-view, he's got like the record in pay-per-view numbers. So obviously people want to watch it still. Like I think people appreciate the beauty of it. Some, like, you know, when you're not getting hit and like, you know exactly what to do, you know, you need to be out of the way by that much to land that punch.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's beautiful to watch. And like all the best fighters in the world have that kind of thing to their game where they just know exactly what they need to do. They're not just running in, throwing wild.
The difference is, see, boxing's boxing. And then Muay Thai is Muay Thai. and one championship's not Muay Thai.
No.
Because it's bum rushy.
Yeah.
It's quick. So realistically, a kickboxer could compete doing Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And just bum rush.
Yeah.
So that if you trained your whole life Muay Thai to fight Muay Thai and you come one championship, well, you're not fighting.
I think you could be a boxer and go in one championship.
And chuck some kicks.
Yeah. They don't really. That's another thing. So like when you fight the Thais before, like when I was fighting in Thailand, the clinch was always really like they were like, you know, like Khabib's really strong in in wrestling because they've done it from babies. Same with the Thais with the Muay Thai clinch, like. They grab you and like, whoa, you don't want to be part of that. Like,
you want to get away.
Yeah, you're trying to get away from that clinch. Yeah, so like, I always try to like nullify the clinch, like, a bit like takedown defense, I suppose, and get out of there and try and like hit my shots on the outside. But now one championship are kind of like, as soon as they get into the clinch, Thais ain't allowed to work in the clinch. They break it straight away. So it's kind of like kickboxing with elbows now. So like they're allowed to throw elbows, but no clinch. So it's basically kickboxing.
It's not Thai.
It's not Muay Thai.
But this is where the issue is, because now is he doing it because like you might not even want to speak on it, I suppose.
Business.
But is he doing it because he loves Thai, or is he doing it because he just thinks? Well, he obviously loves Thai, but I mean, is he taking it to where he's taking it to for the love of Thai, or is he taking it to where he's taking it to because he's like, I can make this massive and get loads of money? There's a difference.
I think the second thing. Yeah, the second. Yeah, like I feel like he probably does love it, like, or like to a certain extent he loved it, but he's changed it.
But he probably knows as well what's going to be more exciting, what's going to sell more. That's the problem.
Exactly.
It's the excitement of, like you said, UFC. Bum rushing. That's why they say about Edwards. Oh, he's not as good as he good because he don't come like Colby.
But the issue is, I think what you're onto something though, because I watch Alex Rose fight. When we're at CFS, I watch her fight and I go, I can't like take my eyes off it.
Yeah,
I'm like, fucking hell, she throws free kicks, moves out the way, punch, moves out the way, and I'm like, it's like beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
So I think casual fans find beauty in authenticity, and one championship's not authentic, and I think that's what might actually be hurting it a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah. I think
if that CFS show when we first went to watch was live on TV, I guarantee loads of people would fucking.
But I think there's an issue because there's you can show it live. Yeah, like for instance, this podcast. Yeah. I think everyone we do is really good, yeah? But if it's not marketed correctly and things are not pushed out in certain ways and you can't do it, it's never going to go nowhere.
No.
And I think that's the difference with Thai. Like, you could watch a Thai event, a regular Thai event, but if someone's not pumping money behind it and marketing it to where they know what's going to manipulate the fan's head, it's not going to go nowhere.
That's why one have done so well as well, because they've got, like, the owner is a big player in, like, the kind of... I think he was in like Wall Street or something like that. Anyway, like a big investor. He knows all the big investors. And
he could probably take a little bit of an L, but obviously their long-term plan would have been to like if they got investors. Listen, it's a business.
They've got there was a report that got put out saying like they'd lost like 360 or 70 million or something. I don't know if it was like this year or like within 2 years, and they're constantly losing, but. He chucks away 50 grand bonuses like it's going out of fashion, like on that show yesterday, or he gives $10,000 bonuses away as well every fight. So he must know something. There must be a plan.
Sometimes I feel like a lot of business they lose at the start, but when they gain momentum,
it's crazy though. 370 million in a year.
Well, how much did they put? Maybe they're looking at like the UFC and seeing, okay, if they were turning around this at this point. This is where we add up.
But this is the thing, it's you got to play the long game, because the UFC started off where people was like barbaric, don't like it, probably hated, and everything went in stages, like jiu-jitsu done really well, wrestling done really well, striking done really well, and now it's like mixed martial arts does really well. If you can mix it all together, you'll be the best, like Leon Edwards. And if he could do that with traditional Muay Thai, I think it would just take longer to do. Because he knows how to market, he knows what people are going to like. And I think in the long run, it would work out. Like, UFC's not really changed. No. Like, it is, UFC is MMA. And I think that's what, I look at one championship, as a casual. And from listening to your podcast and what you've talked about with Lewis on there, I'm like, well, the best fighters in the world are not even on one.
Yeah, it's like who's
the best? Because there's a lot of belts. There's a champion. You see someone in their bio, they're a champion in something. I'm like, I don't know who the best is in Thai. I don't know who the best in the world is.
It's still very hard.
It's all up in the air.
Because again, like one championship's completely different to Muay Thai. It's where are we going?
That's it. It is a weird one. It's kind of like, it's weird because it's kind of good for the sport, but then at the same time, sometimes I think it isn't. It is a weird one. But like they've killed it. I suppose they've put more eyes onto Muay Thai. I suppose, or like because before people didn't really know Muay Thai at all.
Yeah.
So like I suppose they say any publicity is but good publicity.
Yeah.
I suppose there's a couple of English people, like you said, fighting on there. They're gonna be champions.
But I think it'll get to the stage where like, because you hear Rogan talk about, he's like, if the UFC could like purchase like that,
Muay Thai.
They could blow it up because the UFC pay-per-view model. But then is Joe Rogan looking at One Championships Muay Thai and thinking that's Muay Thai, like that's what Muay Thai.
He talks about one.
Yeah, he talks about one a lot, doesn't he? So is he looking at One's model and going like, that's what could blow up, like, but it's not traditional Muay Thai. I think you're going to turn all the traditional Thai people away from it.
You are already like I'm on Twitter and it's actually jokes because you've got like some proper like it's like their job is just to be a troll, but I think it's hilarious. Yeah, so sometimes I go on there and they're obviously like just pure Thai boxing traditionalists and they hate One, like proper hate. Like sometimes I'm like, I go through stage, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, man. But then sometimes like yesterday I watched a card, I'm like, that was sick.
Yeah.
So like, I'm still kind of 50-50 with it. Like sometimes I think it's really good. Sometimes I think, nah, it's ruining it a little bit.
And maybe they've changed too much for the, like, maybe there could have been a balance. Like if you could clinch with it and stuff like that, maybe there would be, there'd be, if you left the rules in there, but lowered the gloves, maybe it could swing it back around for the,
or like, offer your bonuses still, like, because that's basically what they're doing is that there's a load of like the Thais are poor, a lot. To be honest, most of the fighters that go there like that live in Thailand, they're all poor. So you offer them $10,000 to win by knockout. What do you think they're going to try and do? But if they would do the same with big gloves, like with normal Muay Thai gloves on or boxing gloves or whatever, they'll do the same thing.
They'd still go for the knockout.
But they'd have to be a bit more calculated with bigger gloves. I think it would still work, but I don't know. But then there's loads of people out for it, like. I think when you say this though, people think you're a hater straight away. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just giving my opinion on it. Like, I think
not even massive in the sport. I just think there's.
You know, it's actually nice to hear you two say that though, because you ain't come from the same sort of background, and I thought you guys would have been more for that One Championship style, but. It's good to hear that.
Yeah, but, maybe
I think it depends what you see. I think there's loads of like aspects. It depends what you see first. It depends what, like, because if you see that style and you think that's Muay Thai, you'll then watch traditional Muay Thai and be like, this might be a bit boring. But if you do it the other way around, you might be like, well, this is completely different to this. Like, so I think it just depends.
Like jiu-jitsu, you get jiu-jitsu and then you get the slap jiu-jitsu. And I'm thinking, I watched it the other day for the first time. I'm like, what the fuck is this?